Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast, season 5, episode 18. We're still building up to this wedding, but we'll get there eventually.
One day.
This was kind of a filler episode. We can.
I'm ready to get to this wedding.
Same.
I feel like it's starting to be dragged out, but we have also taken forever to watch this season, so that's kind of our own fault.
It never ends. Before we get into the episode, though, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast, which is also a Winter House podcast, which is also a Summer House Martha's Vineyard podcast, and One Season Wonders, which is just a One Season Wonders podcast. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. I have one of my goals for 2024, which is now when we're recording this, but who knows when it will be released, is to be better on the social media front. So when this is released, you can check to see if I actually did it, which there's a good chance I didn't because we're 3 days in and I've done nothing. Okay.
Yeah, but to the broader public, there's probably loads there now.
Go check it out. And join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want because it's our show. And if we want to talk about it, we will.
Sarah's made them tenfold better.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Who the fuck wants to listen to just us all the time?
I know.
Add Sarah in. People are probably relieved. Also, you get access to any episodes we record early, including this one by a long shot. Like I said, it's January 2024. For all I know, this is released in 2027. Once we finally get some time.
For all I know, we're 6 feet under at this point.
We're both dead. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and watch old seasons, which is now, we will do an after show to talk about Bravo News because we want to keep this podcast spoiler free. Also, we will say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Chris, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Chrissy, Lauren, Michelle, Nicole, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Trinette, Tracy, Allison, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Jennifer, Leanne, Lisa, Rio, Robin, Taylor, and Tara.
Hip hip hooray!
Best crew. Your crew, not like our crew. If you have a podcast and you're listening to this, your crew, not like our crew. Unless you're part of this crew and your own crew, which you're
part of a great crew.
If so, you're amazing. You're doing it all.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
And then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when there are live seasons, which is all the time, I will post in the Patreon when and if I remember. And thank you so much. I never do.
And if she doesn't remember, you get to yell at her.
Oh my God, people do yell at me. And then it makes me sad. Like, I'm defensive.
They kindly nudge.
They kindly nudge. And I feel immediately defensive. And I'm like, can you guys stop? It's not my fault. And it is my fault. But I will post in the Patreon, ask for your questions, comments, opinions, concerns, whatever. Basically, you're a part of the podcast and we'll read it all on the podcast. Also, I'll pick a patron of the episode. So because we have 1,000 episodes of this season, I'm trying not to pick the same person twice.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's only fair. We love everyone equally. Or we DM you and tell you we love you more.
Yeah, we're like your parents when we're like, oh, we love everyone.
Who's our favorite child today, Alicia?
It's going to be Nicole. Nicole's new. She's a new year 2024 patron. Welcome. New as in 3-4 days ago. Amazing.
I mean...
Wow, Nicole
immediately gets picked.
Do you regret it yet, or are you good?
I mean, not after this episode.
No, this is her fucking episode. 2024, new beginnings, a new Patreon to join. You're gonna love it. Let me tell you.
Well, especially because in our time we're about to go into live season. It's already happened for anybody.
Oh my God, Nicole, you're about to hit shit's about to hit the fan.
For her, she's hitting the ground running. For anybody who's listening to this on Apple way after the fact, you missed it.
Nicole was the best. Mm-hmm. And you listening in real time, not the best.
Be like Nicole.
Could be the best. I'm really insulting our fan base. Let's just start this episode.
I'm just telling them they could be as smart as Nicole.
Before I get too deep, let's just start. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, previously on Vanderpump Rules, Stassi hates being single. Lisa's gonna do the surf photo shoot. Katie and Schwartz kept fighting on their bachelorette party, but they're gonna go through with the wedding, and they just agreed to not fight. So every time I'm like, I can't wait for that to work out. So
Yikes.
we go to Sir. Everyone's working. Sandoval has on a backwards cap, which I have to say is not his look.
Alicia, I'm so thankful you brought this up because I was worried I was going to forget about it. That's the opening scene, and I said, "What are we doing here?"
It's not his look as a backwards cap guy. That's just not his thing.
It's
He's like a fedora guy, you know?
Here's
They're
the
different.
thing. A, that style, definitely not for him. B, that hat without it being adjustable one looks even dumber. C, with the 3 words sexy unique restaurant embroidered into it, even worse.
Oh my god, it's a sex unique restaurant shirt or hat? Ugh. Okay. Great. So Jackson Sandoval tell Lisa how they didn't get arrested or steal anything in New Orleans, but they did steal a lot of men's hearts because they were dressed up in drag. So Lisa sees photos and videos, and she says Jax is the ugliest woman she has ever fucking seen, and I have to agree.
But you know what? I appreciate him for going along with it.
You know what? He did it, and I love that for him, but man, was he fugly.
A one time only needed.
Sandoval, though, gorgeous woman. Looks better as a woman.
Also had an outfit change, or like a personality change.
He looks like Sia. So they tell Lisa and Katie that they tell Lisa that Katie and Schwartz argued the whole time, and they didn't even sleep in the same bed some nights. And she's like, how the fuck am I supposed to go to this wedding? And I'm like, no, I get it.
I keep forgetting the wedding's only 2 weeks away, but I get more and more stressed the more and more episodes we watch. I don't remember feeling this stressed the first time we watched it.
About them, I think because now we're older, yes, and our friends actually will get married to terrible people that we don't like.
Yes.
And we now worry. At the time, I was like, no, 22? Yeah, they're gonna make it work. You find your love.
I guess this feels more like our life now, whether it's like our friends doing this or like a fear of us doing this. Whereas it just was a show.
Yeah, the fear is here for this.
This is the hardest season to like not put my current eyes on. And like my feelings have changed about like these characters. But the previous first 4, I felt like we were able to watch it like, no, nothing mattered.
So then we cut to Sheena, who's having a bad hair day, but I love that she does the thing that I do, where you point out your flaws before someone else can say you're having a bad hair day. Like, I'll be like, oh, I got a stain on my shirt. So no one looks at my shirt and goes, you have a stain on your shirt. You know?
But a stain on your shirt and just like your hair being kind of poofy, like Sheena's a bit dramatic about her hair. She's like, it's terrible. And Ariana's like, it looks like fine. I wouldn't say it's great.
She's fishing for that compliment. And you know what? I got to give it to her. She gets it. So she feels better about herself. That's true. Okay, so then Sheena's like, isn't it crazy how much the bride and groom that we just went on the bachelorette parties are fighting? Because Shay and I would never. And I'm like, no, Sheena. Yeah, because he was on drugs.
You do not get to be on a high horse about your wedding day.
He was high.
And you were like bitching up a storm your entire wedding day.
And Shay was never going to pick a fight with you. He was on cloud 11 at that point.
He was trying to stay far away from you. I don't think that's a better sign.
In a different dimension, that man.
Yeah.
Okay. Ariana's like, yeah, I think they should go to therapy before the wedding. And I'm like, no, yeah, probably, but we'll see.
Well, the problem is they're 2 weeks away, though. Like,
there's not a lot of therapy sessions.
There's a lot, I feel like, a last minute, like, wedding stuff to do. So there's really not a lot of time. I understand, like, why they might be fighting, like, why couples might fight closer to the wedding. This is different type of fighting. This isn't just, like, bickering and, like, getting on each other's nerves. Like, they're fighting over the cheating thing. I don't think we have time to go to therapy. So it's truly like you got to sit with yourself and be like, do I want to do this for the rest of my life?
Well, people for a long time have been saying you should go to therapy before the wedding. And they're like, nah, and now it's too late.
Yes.
They did this. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then Katie and Lisa talk, and Lisa's like,
how embarrassing.
Hey.
Oh my God. Your employer comes up and is like, hey, I heard you fought the entire bachelorette.
Well, first she's like, hey, you have so much work to do for this surf photo shoot. My God. And then we see when Sheena and Stassi kissed. And we see a Christina Kelly sighting. And then she's like, the theme is indulgence. And Katie's like, no, yeah, I love that. And then Lisa's like, do you also love fighting with your fucking fiance? And she's like,
embarrassing.
She's like, I didn't fight with him. He fought with me. And
The
she's like,
way
oh my God.
and Lisa's like, "Oh, are you trying to pass off blame?" I'm like, Lisa is reading this girl like no other.
The fact that Lisa has anxiety over them getting married, I'm like, I'm not wrong to feel this way.
But I'm weirdly more concerned that Katie's trying to pretend like everything's fine.
Yeah, she's like, we're besties. I
She's
don't know what
like,
you're talking
I
about.
didn't fight with him. Like, we're good.
We're good.
You're not.
We're in love.
I would feel better if Katie was like, yeah, I was kind of a disaster, but here's what we learned.
To me, it seems like at this point she just wants the wedding more than the marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
I bet
she
it's
so
also
badly wants it.
a not really like status, but a social thing of this wedding's being filmed for TV show to pull the plug now.
Yeah.
This train is not stopping. Like it's a runaway train. This
It
you can
is.
have a runaway bride like on TV. No, how embarrassing.
But the views.
I mean, I know, but
Lisa's hoping for it. She's trying to actually put that doubt in. She's like, you guys should not get married.
well, I wonder if off camera there's like other conversations being had, like being like, "Don't go through with this," or like, "You got this." Like, I wonder what is happening off camera with like Lisa and these people.
I'm sure there is with Jackson Sandoval talking to Schwartz. Like, I'm sure they're like, are you? Because they're already kind of hinting at it on camera.
See, those guys are assholes. I think they would just keep it all on camera.
No, I think Sandoval would do it off camera more.
And like Stassi sitting at Katie's home being like, "Hey, let's actually talk about New Orleans."
No, she's like, you have to get the wedding. Her and Kristen are like, we will make sure this wedding happens.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine a month after. Like, you guys will be great. You're just stressed because the wedding.
Because she hates Ariana for being like iffy. And she,
Mm,
you know, so who knows. But yeah, Lisa basically says if they're not happy on vacation, when will they ever be happy? And I was like, no, yeah, I get it.
that hit me deep.
Yeah, I get it. So then we go out to lunch with Kristen and Stassi. They're getting goat cheese salads. And Kristen they both have their dogs, but Kristen's dog is an emotional support animal because if she's holding it, she like physically can't stab James in the heart. And it only cost her $79 and she got a card in 2 days. And now she can bring her dog wherever she wants.
This was the start of emotional support animals, and we have curtailed it because everybody used to bring them on planes, and they didn't have to pay for them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think this is also different in LA, like where it's warm and you can take your dog everywhere. Like here in Chicago, you cannot just take your dog with you all day.
No, and also I feel like LA is more of a dog like everyone has a dog.
Especially small dogs.
Especially like a small, like very Paris Hilton-y area. Like
Mhm.
even in New York, like yeah, a lot of people have dogs and a lot of places are dog friendly, but sometimes you just don't. You wouldn't take a dog like inside like that.
Yeah, I don't want my dog with me all day. You don't know where the day's going to take you.
You're also not a dog person.
That's
Some people would give up their day for their dog. We're not those
But
people.
in my mind, you're just staying home then.
Yeah, no, with their dog, a lot of people would do that.
Yeah. Like it seems like a lot of work, even if I wasn't
it's
anti-dogs.
just not us.
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay. Kristen is making Stassi an OkCupid profile. Don't knock online dating till you try it, because that's how she met Carter. And I went, I will knock it because I've tried it.
No. She said the love of my life, and I was like,
yeah, the love of her life.
I've recently become anti the term love of my life.
I agree, because you can have multiple loves of your life. And also, with so many people in the world and me not exploring even like a fraction of it, how's the person I married? The love. My parents grew up 10 minutes away from each other. That's the love of their life?
I just think people who use it so publicly and constantly are trying to prove something to everyone else rather than themselves. And sometimes themselves.
You have a boyfriend. I have a love of my life.
Yeah.
Wait, I love that. I want to be that elite.
I'm like, how do you know that? How long have you been dating Carter? Like, not that long.
Oh, that's awesome. But Stassi writes a very basic profile bio, which Meredith and I have written tons of profile bios between the two.
We've really tried.
You cannot be this basic. No one's going to know what to... You're going to get a lot of, hey, what's ups.
Okay, I know, but those truly are Stassi.
Basic.
And so, like, I was thinking the opposite in a way. Like, the generic public cannot write all this stuff, but, like, she is writing the things that she really cares about. You know her future. Like, this isn't that major of a spoiler, but she, like, is obsessed with these in the future, too, and constantly talks about them.
Yes. I know, but if you don't know who Stassi is and you see the basic
True.
ranch, my dogs,
That was also the very early dating era where, like,
that's true.
everybody wrote this, and so we didn't know how you really need to, like, specialize.
Like grab someone's attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The strategy of a dating app is horrid, and this made me
ridiculous.
really sad that it's been this long of dating apps.
Same. And now they've only gotten worse because algorithms.
Yeah, now we're trying to make money off of them.
Yeah, fuck that. Stop
Blech.
making money off my depression. Thank you.
In this economy?
If I'm not even making money off my depression, you stop
I
doing
guess that's
it.
kind of sometimes what our pre-show is.
You know what? I will shut the fuck up. You are right. Dating apps, do your worst.
Get your bag. Get your bag.
But Sassy says desperate times call for desperate measures. And I was like, listen, in the future, this is the way. This is the best way. So no, not even desperate, girl.
I feel like a year or two from where Stassi is a great time in dating apps.
Yes.
We are in the graveyard.
Yes.
I'd rather be alone.
Where-
It's my peace of being alone is way better than the like chaos of getting on another dating
because
app.
in current time, we have to fend through incels.
I don't
Those
have to
were
be
never
anywhere
around.
near them.
Now I got to read Tinder profiles that are like, if you are over 100 pounds, die. And I'm like, oh.
The fact that like Tinder is becoming one of the better options is just mind blowing to me.
It comes all the way around.
Ugh.
Okay, so Stassi though, she's open to whatever except bartenders.
I mean, valid.
Just wait till you online date, girl. You'll see. Okay, then we go to Villa Rosa, and Katie and Schwartz are here, and Lisa's like, "Hey, why are you here?" And they're like, "We're gonna talk about the wedding." And then there's a butler magically at her door, and Lisa's like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Her being shocked and confused was so enjoyable.
Was me shocked and I was like, "The fuck is happening?" But basically, this butler reads a poem to her, terribly written. We find out later it's written by Schwartz. So, and he asked Lisa to officiate the wedding, and Lisa's like, "Okay, you're dismissed." British butler, and she goes back to the couple and she's like, "Hey, I'm really worried you've asked me this because I take marriage really seriously and you guys behave terribly and I'm concerned that your marriage will not work." And Lisa doesn't want to be responsible.
The lack of response kills me. She's like, let's first have a conversation.
Well, I love that she's like, I basically can't be responsible for this couple. Like, there's no way this will work. And I was cracking up.
That is like
embarrassing.
I mean, a good intervention because it like hit it home, but like one of the saddest things you could possibly say to people who asked you to officiate their wedding is, no, thank you. I don't want to be responsible for the failure.
For your demise. Don't call me when you get divorced. She's basically like, I don't care. And they're like, well, Lisa, we're in love. And she's like,
she's like, I don't believe it.
I don't believe you. No, you're actually not because I'm in love and you're in hell. Just kidding. God. So Katie starts crying. She's disappointed in them and herself. And now Lisa's crying. And basically, Katie and Tom are like, we know we have so many problems and it's bad and ugly, but we're facing them and we're going to rebuild and get happy again. And Lisa's like, cool, call me when that happens.
This is the first time I've believed them. Like, they're a decent amount of honest and like, I'm disappointed in us. Like, we do have problems. I feel like typically they're just trying to like brush it under the rug or like get over them quickly to like have fun or whatever. Yes. This is like the most honest I feel like I've seen Katie especially. Agreed. Tom is like mean honest, so I don't really give a shit what he cares about. But like Katie just like the slow cry tells me like this hit home to her.
Also, I think their friends can't do this because as of right now, Katie and Tom are like holding the wedding above all their friends. So their friends can't anger them. Whereas now Lisa is holding something above them for their wedding. And she's like, I'm not going to do this.
And it comes as an attack. If like Sandoval says it to Katie, it's like an attack on Katie. Or if one of the girls says it to Schwartz or even any of them, it feels more like an attack.
I also think Katie doesn't like to get advice from people in the same like area of life as her because she feels like you're not better than me. But Lisa, who clearly is better than her, is like, hey, you're a mess.
That's true. Anybody like telling you who's below you, and I don't mean like,
well,
not like, but I'm just saying like, Stassi, who's not dating someone. It's like, you don't get it. You're in like a different like zone. And like somebody who's just dating someone similar to us or like engaged or newly married. It's like, what is your advice, or like, what can you really bring to me?
Yeah. But you can't think like that because we're all seeing it,
No,
girly.
no, but this is definitely what we thought in this
Yeah.
era. We were like,
Yeah.
you're below me. You're a lonely single
Girly,
person.
we're seeing it from the outside and we'd rather be single. Thank you.
Please.
But Katie is a beautiful crier, which I will give her. She looked
is.
gorgeous crying because that's great. Because in the next scene, the beach scene, her hair fucking sucks. She has like a braid and then a bun.
I was so confused. And I kept
happened?
waiting for like a cut scene where somehow like somebody was like in the middle of braiding it or something.
No, this was her hairdo. I think what it looked like was she did her hair and then took an 8-hour nap on it, woke up and walked out her front door. Didn't even care.
Starting it with the massive braid. Was that a massive braid?
It was a half braid.
And then there was the headband braid on the side down.
Yes, and then the down braid.
And then the backish, swooped braid.
But the back was like in the bun or something. It was like pinned. It was like pinned and teased in the back. I don't know.
It was swooping to the side. Yes. It was all on the same side.
Yes, but then there was the back of her head puffed out. So I think it was like a Snooki.
It got messed up.
Poof in the back. Yeah, it looked terrible.
Okay.
Anyway.
A lot happening. I was staring at it too long.
I can't unsee how terrible it was.
A lot of bad hair and head stuff going on this episode. I couldn't stop seeing it. Yeah. And also this is what gives me like weird giggles watching shows back, is you're like, what was going on during this time?
But also I can tell you some of these things I never did, like Katie's hair, but also when it's on my screen, I can't focus on what is happening because I'm like, what is she doing? I have no idea what Katie says.
We got more to come too. I can't wait to comment more on the hair.
Can't wait. So, beach day. Whole crew is here except James and Lala, which I miss them very much. I'd like them to come back.
I clocked that Lala has not been around for a while. James has, because of the Daily Mail party.
Fired. Yeah, he's just fired.
But Lala has not been around since she quit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sheena, she's taking Snapchats to send to Shay because he's not here. And I bet he's in bed eating chicken tenders again.
Or like at the quote unquote studio.
At the music studio producing his shit. Mike Shay on the 1-2s.
Can you imagine like you're at your day job and like your wife is like sending you photos from the beach?
Oh my God. Yeah. What if he's actually like, what if he's me? What if he's stupid and he's an accountant and he's like, Sheena, keep your Snapchats to your.
She's probably texting him like, "Open your Snapchat." People used to do that.
They'd be like, "At work."
I sent you a Snapchat, and you're like, "Yeah, I know. I have notifications on those too. You don't need to text me also about it."
She sends him nudes, and he's like, "Sheena, I'm at the music studio. Can you stop?"
Weirdly, I feel like Shay would show those to everybody.
Remember the first episode when that producer's like, "You make her do those giggle moans," and he's like, "Yep."
Oh my God.
That was when he was high, though. So I bet sober Shay is like, no one look at her.
A little bit more respectful.
He's like, my wife. Well, that wasn't his wife. That was his girlfriend. Now this Sheena's his property. No, I'm just being stupid. But you know what I mean? He's like, this is my wife. My nudes. He's like, look how hot my wife is. That's her boobs.
That's the thing. I feel like he gives off that energy a little bit.
No, she would be like, I sent you nudes, and then he'd open them as everyone's just over his shoulder, and he'd be like, no, dope nudes. But he doesn't know people are watching. Sorry, I'm way on Shay. I miss him so much.
This is how we get from this is a boring episode to an incredible one.
Yeah. So Sheena asked Stassi how her date went last night. Stassi loved it. She made out all night long, and it was a good first kiss. And Kristen's like, happy you didn't give it up on the first date. And Sheena's like, yeah, she's not you, Kristen. And Kristen's like, I know, I'm a hoe.
Roasted. Do you ever have a good first kiss? I feel like first kiss are notoriously not good.
My problem is I'm really sensitive to pheromones. So if you smell weird, I immediately want to gag into your mouth.
My expectations are low on first kisses because they're always kind of awkward.
Especially depending on, like, if you just walked me home and now we're going to make out in front of the street lamp.
And we're, like, sober.
I once made out in front of the subway and I wanted to die in my, like, right on the spot. I
made out in front of my now apartment building and I still think about it probably every day.
Oh my God. When I pass the places in New York that I've made out in front of, I want to die. There's 2 places right by my apartment, and every time I'm like, I can't be here.
That's how I feel every time I look out my window.
I still exits my body. You look out and you're like, terrible.
I'm like, why did I do that?
I need to move now. Okay, so then Schwartz and Katie tell the group that they asked Lisa to officiate the wedding, but she didn't say yes, and everyone's like, wait, what?
Oh my
And
gosh.
I said it's probably because Katie has ugly ass beach hair. It's not it.
Sandoval's like, thank God she said everything we're thinking.
You know what? He's like, yeah, you know what? We're all thinking this marriage is fucked, and Lisa told them. So now they can shut the fuck. Plus, you are the married couple who keeps arguing in the friend group. This whole friend group hates you. They're like, oh, Katie and Tom can't come. Thank God.
That's so true. And like weddings nowadays have become a thing where it's like, oh, this is gonna be a fun party we all get together at, and like whatever.
Yeah.
These people are paying for a party. This one is like, fuck, I can't wait till this is over. So then like I can stop having wedding activities to hang out with these people who keep fighting. Like fight away from me, please.
I can't wait for them to go on their honeymoon. I need them to leave the
a
country.
Week off. It's a vacation for everyone.
Christ. Don't call me. Okay, so then Katie and Tom go on a beach walk. They promise basically not to be assholes to each other anymore. And he has Doritos on his mouth. And those were the two things I took away while looking at Katie's ugly ass beach hair.
I was like, I had a little bit of hope for them at Lisa's. I have no hope for them anymore.
Do you have Doritos on your mouth? Yeah, you should lick it off. Ugh.
He also was like, we're gonna get beach buddies. I'm not calling you fat. I just walked into a trap and I was like, oh my
weird.
God.
That was weird. He's like, I just want to be a vegetable and eat bad food with you, which is honestly such a compliment.
Yes.
And Katie says, no, not bad food. And he goes, oh, you're right. We're gonna like get hot or whatever. And then Katie gives him a dirty look and he goes, no, you're already hot. And I was like, Katie, you're the one that said no bad food.
I know. Like, this could have just been a simple, fun comment.
That was on Katie. He was like,
1,000%.
He's like, I love you so much. I want to eat chicken wings with you in our bedroom.
He's so scared to say anything that she will like take negative that he's like freaking out if she even like blinks while he's talking.
They hate each other. Great. So let's go to the horse stables. Lisa's here. She has her horse, Prince Tardan. That's her horse. So Ariana's here because she also loves horses. So they talk and walk on their horses. And Ariana says she talked to Schwartz and knows that Lisa's not officiating the wedding yet. She also tells Lisa how Katie at the beach was talking about how ashamed she was of how like they've acted.
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa's like, no, that's super great, but they need to prove it to me because I still think this marriage is fucked, basically. And then Lisa's like, hey, are you going to marry Sandoval? And Ariana's like, nah, also I don't really want kids because babies are kind of gross. And I was like, no, babies are really gross.
I don't care about babies, no positive or negatives, but I feel Ariana so much in this moment.
Kids are gross.
And when this aired, this was not a popular opinion or openly discussed.
Well, because Lisa says what I hear all the time is, one day you'll change your mind when you find someone who you want like more of. And I was like, I don't want them to procreate. I just want them to keep hanging out with me.
And I don't like that used to be the auto response and kind of still is. Like, oh, you'll change your mind.
Yeah, no, bitch.
Do you ever look at a parent and say, oh, you'll change your mind, you won't want this, and walk away from it? Why would I change my mind?
They all do at one point.
And walk towards it.
When I'm still drunk and having a great life in Italy and you have your 5 kids, I bet you regret it a little bit.
Yeah, but they're not walking away from it. Like, why do I have to walk towards it? I have really officially entered the era of I would rather regret not having kids than regret having kids.
Well, yeah, because one of those
is real permanent.
One of those is really screwing you.
Like, I can always adopt a child is what I've decided.
You can always have a kid if you want.
That too. Well, bodily things will come into play, but...
Well, you can adopt, you can steal your sisters for a little bit and then give them back when you're done.
I'm lucky because I have children in my life, and that's enough for me.
Well, once my friends have kids, I'm never going to want my own. I'll just steal theirs for a day and give it back when I'm done.
When it starts crying or yelling at me.
When it's mad at me, I'll be like, now we're done.
Now we're done. You can't do that with your own.
You know what, kid? We're done. You're going back to your parents. They're like, no. And I'm like, no, you've angered me.
Every
We're
time I
done.
spend a day with my sister's kids, I'm like, I cannot wait to hand this back.
I love that. We're done. I'm always going to look at a kid now. Once they start really annoying me, I'm going to look at every kid from now on and go, we're done.
Contract expired.
Babies are crying. I just go, nope, we're done. Walk away.
The worst is when you want to be done, but there's no other parent around or like adult around to take them.
You like, call the owner of the kid and you go, I'm done. Come get it.
Come get your thing.
I hand it over to my mom. I go, I'm done. I just run.
Yes. I like my parents being around because then I can be the fun, cool aunt and then like go to Oma and Opa.
Yeah, you cry. We're done. Grandma and Grandpa, hit it up. Oh, I can't wait for my sister to have kids. Anyway, so she wants them. I'm not forcing it upon her. She wants 5. I've heard about it. Anyway.
Oh, Jesus. 5. That's a story for another time.
But then I could easily steal like 1 or 2. She wouldn't miss them at all.
You gotta stop using the verb steal.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Because I also imagine you like taking them and it's like hanging sideways and you're like running away.
Well, I picture it like I go to my friend's house and I'm like, come here, I got candy. And they come to me and my friends are like, we're right here. And I'm like, I'm stealing him.
Come here.
Come here. I got it. And then I run out with him. Anyway, then we go to Kristen and Carter's apartment. I wrote her name, Christine. How fun. Kristen. And Stassi's here. She needs a drink before she goes on this blind date she's getting set up on, which I would tell me if I'm wrong. I would rather my friend set me up on a blind date than go on a date from a dating app.
I agree.
Because at least they're vetted by my friend.
I've gone on a blind date and it was like decently good. Like, we're obviously not dating to this day. Not that anybody else knew, but you knew that.
But bad dates are only from the dating apps.
Well, I just feel like it's less awkward and you already have some like built-in topics sometimes because like your friend will probably tell you about them.
Your friend, yeah, like, oh, you went to that school too.
You know enough where you don't have to ask them the precursor question of like, what school did you go to? Or like weird questions that you're like, I don't actually care about these. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a good time on mine.
But you always have, I love that though. You always have a topic. Like my friend found a dude from my college on a dating app and she sent it to me. I was like, no, yeah, swipe right. And she was like all nervous. I'm like, dude, go on this date. And when things get bad, just be like, so were you and Alicia friends in college?
Mm-hmm. Oh, did they like talk about that over text beforehand?
She was like, oh, you know my friend, you went to Bradley, do you know Alicia? And he's like, yeah, I do. And she's like, haha. And then they went on a date and I'm like, worst comes to worst, be like, what was Alicia's most embarrassing moment in college?
I love that.
They could just talk about me. I was like, I
want my friends to set me up, but the problem is couples are terrible at setting people up.
Terrible. Because they're like, oh, he wouldn't be the bestest husband in the world. And I'm like, I'm just trying to have a good meal with someone. That's the thing
is like, you're telling me the details I don't need to know. And you're also not like looking at the landscape to be like, who do I know?
Yeah. I had one friend who was like, I was like, you have tons of single friends. Set me up with one of them. And she goes, yeah, but like none of them are good enough for you. I was like, you hang out with these people all the time.
That's good. That's the thing is like you're co-signing them because you hang out with them. That's enough for me. And I don't need it to be so explicit of like set me up on a date. Like host an event where these people will be there and I can like talk to them and like get to know them on my own.
Or I've had a friend before go, oh, he's too quiet. And I go, he is one of your best friends. Fucking set me up with him. And he's too quiet. I don't care. Is he a murderer? No,
I can talk for the both of us.
Yeah, have you met me? I have a podcast.
He needs to be quiet.
I would prefer it. Okay, so she has options of what to wear. I love this. I love when you can get ready for a date with your friends. I love when one of your friends is so invested in your dating life like this. Because my friends would be like, just wear whatever. And I'd be like, oh, you've been married for 7 years.
I miss getting ready with girl. Like, that's why, that's the only positive thing about bachelorettes is like the getting ready together is just so fun.
Also, Kristen's an amazing person to have before a first date because she's basically a mess.
Yes.
And so you're already like, I'm better than Kristen. Like Kristen's like, do you have everything? Do you have your Adderall and your Plan B and your condom?
That would stress me out a little bit, but she's like good at like hyping up a little bit and like distracting you with like the stupid things.
Married friends go, do you think you're going to have kids with him? Or you think he's the one? And I'm like, I've even met him. What are you
I hate
talking
when my
about?
friends say, "Oh, are you gonna like have us meet him?" And I'm like, "Fuck no,
No,
no. You're a permanent staple in
no.
my life, and this person just blooped onto Earth.
Yeah, I got
No."
to figure him out first. What if you like him?
What spiraled me with Kristen is when she was talking about the Spanx of like, what if he touches you? I would
Oh
be
my
like,
God. That drove
don't
me nuts too.
make me think about a boy touching me on this first date because then I will go into overdrive.
Well, Stassi very clearly is like, I'm not hooking up with him on the first date. And Kristen's like, what if you do? And she's like, I'm not. I've set my boundary. And Kristen's like, you're boring about it. And Stassi's like, also, I'm a murder girl. I can't even have him pick me up because what if he comes back? Now he knows
Yeah.
where I live. And I think about that all the time. My friends think I'm crazy, but I've gone on dates with crazy dudes. I do not want them to know where I live. I always drop them off.
I'm great at picking crazy, so they can't
Yeah,
come pick me up.
me? With my depression, they're all crazy.
Yeah, it is an overall safety thing, and I don't know why, but like I don't need to know where they live. I don't need to know where they are in my life because then I would like also start weirdly altering my routines just to guarantee I don't see them
Yes,
anywhere. Like I don't want to overthink the rest of my life on that stuff. We live in
I
cities, so it's
agree.
like a lot different. Like it wouldn't bother me in like a suburb for somebody to know like the general area I live, but the city wise and like what street I live on, no, because like I don't want to accidentally run into you.
Agree, especially when I'm out for like my trash walk, just hungover, picking something up, and you
Yeah.
run into me, and I'm like, oh no.
I don't want to like I guess there can be an accidental run and that would be more normal, but like I don't want to think about how you could possibly run into me.
Yeah, it's not for me. So I
No.
feel Stassi on this. Anyway, she does look amazing in her dress. So then we go to Jax and Brittany's apartment. The boys are getting spray tanned because Sandoval wanted to treat everyone to get spray tanned because
No.
he loves getting spray tanned.
This is so weird.
Jax, though, doesn't because it gets all over his apartment and it's just goop.
He also says that he like spent time outside recently and he goes, "And now I'm darker."
Now I'm
Like as
darker.
if that was like shocking.
It's like magic. Have you seen the sun? Also they're like super fucking weird watching each other like half naked get spray tanned and like pretending to jerk off. If I was these women, I would be like sexual harassment immediately. I hate it here.
Well, I don't need this amount of closeness with my girlfriends. I don't think guys need this amount like what are we doing?
You don't need to do sexual gestures as I'm standing there half
They also
naked.
don't need the stadium seating that they
Yeah, you
basically
don't
put
need to
out.
watch me. I'm just
No, not
getting
like that. It's okay if
spray
you're like
tanned.
standing around and like you're chatting and then you like look over and watch,
Yeah. Hey,
Sam
your
or
color looks
Schwartz do it.
nice or whatever. And you're like,
Yeah.
great. You don't need to fully sit and watch everything. We
Yes.
don't need that. Um, okay, but Schwartz and Katie banked last night, so alert the police.
I think they're going to think that that's a milestone of a healthy relationship.
They do. Schwartz is like, we're having sex again.
We're back,
Once.
baby.
And it was good sex one time. And now for the next 6 months, we're good. So Schwartz, though, he's like, hey, who's going to officiate my wedding if Lisa says no? And Jax is like, me. And Schwartz says, that's a bad omen, don't we think?
I'm glad they're thinking about somebody else because at the rate they're going, like Lisa's not doing this.
So we go on Stassi's date with her, which I thought was a good date. Also, Stassi's very good at dating.
I think she's great, yeah.
She was a great date. Anyway, I thought her date David was very cute. He was tall. He was handsome. He was dressed nice.
I think this is an awkward date because it's on TV.
I agree, but it also wasn't as awkward as some of the ones I have been on. So
1,000%. That's the thing. It made me uncomfortable because I all I was thinking is, what if I went on a date and a TV show was filming it?
Yeah,
and that's what made me uncomfortable. But
yeah, because Stassi has to hit beats too on this date, which made it weird.
Miserable.
So like, okay, she looks gorgeous. He seems really nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, are you excited that we have, like, do you like to hike? Runyon Canyon is open again. And she's like, oh, Stassi's the worst sometimes. She's like, no, I'd rather be sedentary. And he's like,
but
oh.
it's good she's being honest.
Yeah, but it's hilarious how she's like, oh, I don't hike like a ton, but I could get into,
you the producer gave this guy questions to ask, so he is hitting beats too. They don't want this to be a success.
No, it is the opposite. No, they want Stassi single and alone for literally ever.
Yes.
Okay, so he has a real job. So he wakes up at 7 a.m. and Stassi's like, all I do is sleep, and I'm convinced that's why I'm so pretty. I was like, terrible line.
That's the most unhinged thing I've ever
Whatever
heard.
beat that was terrible. And then she talks about Patrick. It's not terrible, but she's basically like, I like not having to answer to someone. And like, fuck Patrick.
That wasn't good. Like, I think it's okay to kind of like talk about exes or like people you've dated to be like, this is what I don't like. Like, I realize I am much happier like once you get away from it.
But the way Stassi said it, because I also think it's really good to be like, I am more of an independent person. I love to do my own thing.
But it came off as like, fuck men. I don't want to date anybody because they trap me.
You ask where I am, I'll never tell you. No.
Like, this guy is like,
how am I? Fuck you.
Okay, I won't ask anything of you.
No, nothing.
You can sleep all day.
You need help? Never. He was like that energy. So I thought David seemed nice. There was no spark. She does bring up how David could have been a murderer and drugged her drink. And he's like, oh, okay.
She brought this up at a weird point. Like, they were about to leave. That's not the moment.
He's like, I enjoyed talking to you. And she's like, you too. I thought you were going to maybe drag my body. And he was like, oh, no. And then she said she's not feeling it, which we could tell. He wasn't murdery, which is a good thing, but she does want him to be a little more murdery. So maybe she should go manslaughtery.
I don't know where she's going. I
think by murdery, she wants more of like a spark, like an excitement to it. You know, like how when you hear true crime, you're like, oh my God, she wanted that mystery, that like, ooh, but she doesn't want him to actually murder her, but she doesn't want bland. She wants like a little.
I don't think I would call it murdery and manslaughtery.
I wouldn't call it manslaughtery, but
also I was really scared when they walked out of the restaurant
and she went the other way.
Well, if he was gonna try and kiss her, because I feel this for you. Sometimes you leave dates and you're like, don't touch me. And then there was like do we hug? Do we handshake?
I thought that was less awkward than her actually turning the corner and walking. She's like, bye. And she just walks for like a good, at least 10 seconds just down the street. And I was like, oh no, awesome.
A date is one of the worst experiences of my life.
The worst. I'm just glad he didn't ask, can I kiss you? Because that has happened. And I'm always like, not now. No.
It's weird.
You would feel it if I wanted you to kiss me. And so when
there's also a way, if you are someone who wants to ask, there's kind of a way to ask. Like, you already have to be kind of like this sounds weird, touching someone, like hand on thigh, like rubbing.
You could do it hot, or you could be like, I really want to kiss you right now.
That's it. Like, and it's like you have to be kind of close where you like are reading the signs and you're just confirming the signs you're reading.
Yes. The worst thing that happened to me, now I have to share this, is I hugged a dude and was like already leaning away with my umbrella up. And he goes, can I kiss you? No. And I go,
I would have lowered the umbrella in his face.
Well, my umbrella then, oh God, was on my side. It like broke. It went the other way. And I was like, oh, the wind. And I blew away with it. I was like, oh no.
Gotta go.
Bye. Now I'm drenched.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so then we go to Katie and Tom's apartment. Schwartz comes home with a dead pig prop for the photo shoot that he hates so much. They need to have more dudes for the photo shoot, so Schwartz might step in. Great. They're doing more activities together, including falling in love again. So they order Maggiano's pasta and calamari for a date night.
The way they like act like working and doing stuff and just one little date night will fix them right up and convince Lisa that they're good.
Maggiano's is the food of love. It's the rest. That's where everyone falls in love in high school.
Like, they couldn't even go out for a dinner.
Literally, Maggiano's was where the boy who was dating the girl all 4 years of high school took her for like a fancy anniversary date. That's all I think of when it's like Maggiano's.
I think of like a mall.
Yeah, or like my family goes there because there's nowhere else to go.
Like, we're spicing it up a bit tonight.
Also, I've never had calamari from Maggiano's, and I don't plan on it.
I can't imagine that it's great.
I love Maggiano's, though.
My family does not do chain restaurants, so this would never be in our playbook.
Ooh, we still sometimes go to Maggiano's because my grandparents want to go there, so that's when
love that for them.
We'll go.
You should remind them of this takeout date.
Yeah, I should say we should do takeout next time.
This is the sign of love.
Add the calamari in, too.
When Schwartz takes it out of the bag, too, he's like, I forgot I ordered calamari.
So then how long ago did he order this?
Nothing says I love you. Like, I forgot what we ordered.
Like, how long ago did you order this, you know? Okay, so they talk about their relationship. Schwartz, he feels really bad that he cheated on Katie multiple times. He's like sad about it a little bit.
I don't think you ever knew that I felt bad about it.
I did. I'm not sorry, but I do feel a little guilty.
I know you want me to admit I fucked her too, but I won't. But I
It
do
was
feel a
just
little bad.
funny. The way he's like eating his pasta, he's like, I'm so happy we're doing this. I'm so in love with you. Although sometimes I feel a pain of guilt for like hooking up with someone else
Yeah, he's
when we
like,
were dating.
oh, I also just want to let you know I do feel a little bit bad about
I
that.
know it was wrong, and I knew it at the time, but I would still have lied about it if you didn't figure it out from Kristen.
But to be honest, I'm more concerned by Katie's response saying, I don't want to talk about this. We're entering a new chapter of our life. We're
New
done.
era.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
Katie, you need to be done. You're the one who got so stressed out about this. And like, you have a right to, but like, are you over it?
She's literally like, that was last season. This is this season, baby. I don't care. So, Katie, though, because of this Maggiano meal, she has no more doubts. No more doubts.
Oh my God. The way
When
she's
you're
like, I trust and believe he won't ever do that to me again. Like, we love each other.
you ordered calamari for me. That's the pinnacle of love.
I don't even trust my own self. So I
Mm.
don't know how you can trust this relationship. But here we go. Wedding in, I'm going to say about a week.
Meredith, but he's stepping up. He
He
ordered
ordered
dinner without,
calamari.
and it sounds like he got Katie what she ordered for her, which I'd be concerned this man would order something she didn't like.
Dude, no. He probably put on his things and handed her the phone and said, "What do you want?" And she was like, "That's love."
Why he didn't know they got calamari.
Like,
He just gave her the credit card. Awesome. So they say we should have fat sex, which is basically when they eat a lot and then they have sex.
no, and they're lazy sex. Lazy
It's
sex, they
lazy
said.
sex.
And he goes, "Dibs on bottom." Like, I know what you're saying.
The pinnacle of love is this scene.
I understand what you're saying and I feel those vibes, but like not at the moment you say we're back, baby.
Also, if you never have sex already, this is not the moment to have sex.
You've
You
had like
just wait.
sex one time in the
Just
last
wait.
like 6 months and now you're
Yeah.
like back to fat sex. What?
Although I do love that they're so comfortable with themselves that they one day in their relationship was like, we just ate a shit ton and we should totally have sex, but like not good sex, lazy sex.
I appreciate it, but like that you don't do that on the day you've decided marriage is the
To
right
fall
thing
in
for
love.
you.
Yeah. It was awesome. And then you don't call the bottom. If you love her, you would give her the
It's Schwartz also calling the bottom. Like Katie was kind of making a joke, you know, like we just ate a bunch of food. Should we do that again? And he's like, yeah, dibs on bottom. I want zero effort in work in this.
Oh, that's the best. Okay, so then we go to the surf photo shoot. It's Brittany's first photo shoot. Pinnacle of her life too. Great.
She goes, where do we put the clothes?
And it's like on the racks.
Where your name is.
Duh. Stupid bitch.
Brittany's no actor. She's just a girl from Kentucky.
No. She's a Hooters waitress.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
So Ariana, she looks miserable to be here, and she feels that too. She describes this as the awkward company Christmas party, and that makes me not want to do this. Especially because they're getting naked with each other.
I was gonna say that makes my company like Christmas party feel so much better.
Yeah, amazing.
At least I don't have to lay naked on a table with a fake pig.
Yeah. Well, there's also a Diana sighting. Whoops. A Diana sighting. Suck a dick, Diana. Katie, she looks really good, and she is ready to direct the women, which I thought that's what she was doing, but then she's in the photo shoot, so I was wrong.
I could not tell if she was in the photo shoot just directing it or both, but then yeah, it comes full circle. She is doing both.
Yeah. So they set up the pig. Also, Jax makes a comment how they should really use these photos to like update their website because the website still has Kristen and Stassi on it, and they haven't worked here in a while.
And weren't they in those like scarf dresses too from like season 1?
Yes, the ones that didn't cover their butts.
Yeah, like those were really outdated. We've done so many photo shoots since.
Where is the 50s pinup one?
Honestly,
where's that one? Okay, so Sandoval, I don't know why we would doubt him bringing a lot of options. You have to be prepared for everything. And then I said, what is happening to Lisa's hair?
Oh my God.
Okay, at first I thought it was just teased in the back,
I did too. I said maybe they started it and like haven't finished it.
but then she's doing a half pony, but the pony is only the hair in the back top of her head. Like her front, but like the front half of her head is fully down, but
Yeah.
then it's just this
And it
little
has like some volume like she normally does. But then that
yeah.
weird back section looks like she has a bump it in.
Yeah, like a bump it from the 2000s. She was not. I never looked at
And then I
Lisa
thought
so
maybe
terribly.
it coming straight on looks different, you know, like you're never going to see the back of her head in these photos, so maybe they didn't care that much. But no, the entire day I was like, what are we
What
doing?
is happening to her? Yeah. Okay, so then we cut to lunch with Stassi and Kristen, two little alcoholics. I love them so much. They just want to be able to drink as much as possible without being hungover. That's their number one goal in life.
I
And I
used to be
respect it.
this vibe. I guess I am this vibe because the Sunday scaries go kind of with being hungover. Like I just don't want to be anxious or feel like gross.
Like,
So
I want to drink. I enjoy it so much. I
love
just
it in the
don't want the
moment.
regret that comes with it, which if there's no
Hmm.
hangover, there's very little regret.
I feel anxious still a few days after. I started realizing that because I took like 2 weeks off in intermittent periods this like fall.
Mine's the hangover. That's what gets it. When I'm puking, I am
Oh, puking's the
terrible.
absolute
The
worst.
worst. That's rock bottom. Okay, so Sheena she hates the dead pig, so she sends Kristen a picture of it because they're vegetarians.
Oh, I didn't realize
So
that's what she was saying.
yeah, that's why she said to Kristen, she's like, it still bothers me. And Kristen's like, isn't this gross? And Stassi's like, oh my god, it's fake.
I
Who
just
cares?
thought that she was saying like this is so fucking weird. Look at our theme this year.
Oh, I think it was because it's a dead pig, and remember they don't eat because they always have to leave the table when there's
That was
meat.
fish though.
They don't eat any meat.
Interesting.
They're both veggies. So then Stassi's talks about her date. It went fine. She just wasn't feeling it. Also, he was young, and she wants to be the young skank, not be left for the young skank. Also, Stassi wants a guy who like has it together, and in LA that doesn't really happen. So Kristen says she can only date like 35 and up, except Jax. Jax is the exception to that rule.
I need to do like 35 and above.
Also, though, there have been a lot of success stories on reality TV of older women and younger men. And not by like a lot, but like
What
Big
do you
Brother,
deem success stories?
Big
Who?
Corey in America are
Oh
living
my
it up.
god, that is literally they like have been dating for like 4 months. The way you define success.
They've been dating for a long time and they are in love and I love them so much and I'm going to make my profile 23. No, I can't go lower than my brother. My brother's 25. My cap is 25.
Yeah, I no. If I met someone out in the wild and didn't know their age, I don't know if it'd bother me, but it's one of those things that like you start to prejudge immediately.
Yeah, but also I could change it to 35 and then date all Jaxes.
I wish you could set your age range on a dating app and not see it. You know, like you get to choose what people see. I wish you could also choose what you see yourself, like for other people's profiles.
Oh.
Like I don't want to. I want to set it for the age range I want, but I don't actually want to know your age.
I just wish there were more filters. Like, oh, they read. I'll set it to that. Only people who read. Or like I don't know.
Or
If
if
you
you could
like a
just search, like there's
yeah.
you know the people who like you. If you could
Yes.
like search them for specific qualities, so you don't like
Yes.
have to filter through all the
Filter it
trash and
out.
feel bad about
Yeah,
yourself.
100%. Because then what if I find a great guy, but he's 26? Like, immediately, if I saw the age first, that might deter me.
Yeah,
So, I get it. But also,
there's just
Jax
so
being
many
the
problems.
exception. Yeah. So Stassi though, she's gonna stop dating and focus on this wedding. They only have one problem, and that's fucking Vanderpump. But Stassi's like, yeah, but she's right to not officiate this wedding. And Kristen's like, yeah, you're right. And then Stassi's like, wow, I can't believe I've said that.
My God.
So we cut back to the surf photo shoot where Katie and Sheena talk. Katie has some wedding questions, and Sheena gives some good advice on what to do. And then Sheena
Mm-hmm.
shares that she wished Katie would like include her more because she kind of feels left out, and she misses the individual closeness of Katie. Which this I felt because I'm very bad at girl groups, but I'm really good at individualized one-on-one friendships. Like that's really where I thrive.
I
And
don't feel
so
connected in a group. I mean, I,
yes,
like, enjoy some of the activities we do, but I don't ever feel like I spent time with
it's not
people when I'm
quality
in a group.
time to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at
So
that point where I want one-on-one time.
I feel like Sheena might also feel this way because she's
Mhm.
only really around Katie when Kristen and Stassi are there, and I
She
mean,
also has a
that group itself.
negative group experience
Yeah,
constantly.
but I think Sheena also is really good at individual friendships more than
Mhm.
groups because of how she,
I
like,
agree
came
with
into
that.
STIR and has, like, struggled since to, like, find her footing. So, she brings this up. Katie's very receptive. She's like, "I didn't even realize. I'm so sorry." And Sheena, again, is also very apologetic, saying, "It's not your fault. You're planning a wedding. Totally fine."
Which
And
I
then
appreciate Sheena saying that because Katie does. I don't think it's an excuse for everything, but like planning a wedding, it takes a lot of your focus. Like you don't have time to like make every friend feel so special during that time in life. And
agreed.
so I think it's nice that Sheena was like, I understand you can't make this a priority
Yeah,
right
this is
now.
just how I'm feeling. Just include me
Mm-hmm.
more. And I think it helps that Sheena is Katie's only friend that's been married, so Katie will be reaching out.
Yeah.
But they have a lovely hug moment.
I don't
And
like
then
that Katie said though that like, oh, I didn't know you wanted to be included.
no, I wanted to be left
What?
out. I wish you had left me out
Yeah,
more.
I was like, what's the alternative? Like, oh, Sheena doesn't hate you, so of course she wants to be included. That just didn't resonate with me and
I'd actually prefer you never include me in anything again. Just don't even invite me to your wedding. I'd prefer
yeah, yeah,
it.
I don't want to be included in anything. No
Yeah.
birthdays, no
No.
weddings, nothing.
Yeah, I'm actually included too much. Thanks.
Yeah.
So then we go to Sandoval and Ariana's hot and sexy shot that they're doing. Sandoval's hair though, terrible.
I hate
Um,
it so
but
much.
Ariana's super hot. Wow, these photos, I was like, there is one star in this couple, and
It's
it is
Ariana.
not Tom Sandoval.
No. Also,
Let me tell
the
you.
setting on the photos though is so fucking weird.
So weird.
It's like
It's like
grainy.
she says it's indulgence, but all I think of is that America's Next Top Model photo shoot, the gluttony one where they did the 7 deadly sins. That's all I'm seeing is gluttony.
There were so many things while they were taking these photos where I was like, what are we doing?
What are we doing? What's the point of the pic? Okay, Katie and Schwartz. I think it's supposed to be you look sexy while eating. And let me tell you, I do not look sexy
I
while
know, but
eating.
in this or later Katie and
Oh
Schwartz
yeah,
do one and like Katie's holding a glass of wine with grapes in her hand. And I'm like,
it's a good pairing.
what? Who does this?
I don't know. Anyway, so Katie and Schwartz talk. Sandoval ruins the moment by thrusting, but they like laugh about it. And Lisa's like, "Hey, I love that you're laughing. I have something to talk about with you, but not now, later."
Later.
And they're like, "Okay." And then we cut to Katie and Schwartz doing their classy photo shoot. And they are a hot couple. They just don't get along. Like they just don't like each other.
But you can't convince me that these are cute photos as much as like Ariana and Tom, where like they looked at each other like lovingly. Like these two don't even know how to like
I
model
think I
lovingly.
think the problem is Sir is like sexy, and I get
Hmm.
that, but only like love to me is like this. I don't know what I'm trying to say. They didn't convey sexy to me. They
Yeah.
conveyed like awkward engagement photos. Whereas
Yes.
Ariana, not so much Tom even. I got like a weird ick from him, but Ariana gave me like you wish you were me or you wish you were banging me.
Like
Sandoval
you
gave
want
me
to be
like
eating whatever I'm holding
yes,
on my
whatever
naked
I'm
body.
selling.
Like
Yeah,
she's selling the fake food.
yeah, Sandoval was like, I love that I'm me and I wish I could bang me. That was his vibe.
And you
But
know what? That semi worked.
still kind of worked.
Hmm.
These two were like, we are engaged and we are trying to do a boudoir shot of some sort.
I'm doing sultry eyes.
Yeah, it was like, now look at me with fire in your face. And they're like, we just had we just had lazy sex with fire.
Yeah. I guess what I have learned is a lot of people aren't good actors, which I should have already known
Yes.
5 seasons
But
into
I
this
do
show.
think they are both hot and they look hot
Yes.
together. I just wasn't,
Yes.
if I saw this on a website, I wouldn't go, I can't wait to eat their food. I
That's
would
true.
go,
They don't know how to sell this fake plastic food like
that's
Lisa
it.
wants.
I would go, they tried engagement photos and it didn't totally work out.
So many engagement photos. I'm like, these are awkward. What are we doing?
That's what this, I would have been like, what a weird vibe for your engagement photos.
So
Gluttony. Gluttony's a weird vibe.
Holding a wine glass with a bunch of fake grapes.
As my husband breathes in my scent from my neck.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so then Jax and Brittany talk literally about nothing. And so she tells Jax that he looks handsome. And he goes, thanks. And then he says nothing. And she goes...
They gave so much silence in this clip, too. Like, do.
She goes, tell me I'm pretty. And he goes, I already did twice. Isn't that enough? Cracking up.
I don't think a lot of guys understand the whole compliment thing.
Honestly, though, there's also a better way to do this. So this made
from
me
Brittany's side?
No, from Jax's side.
Okay.
So when I went to prom senior year with my boyfriend, I remember weirdly being like, you didn't tell me I looked beautiful. And he's like, I did. Did you not hear me? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, well, you look beautiful. Instead of being like, I did already. I'd be like, when?
That's the thing is but it also feels like she's only giving the compliment to get one.
Yeah.
I do this sometimes.
In silence going, you look handsome.
Yeah, like, I do this sometimes where like, I can't just, like, how do you express that you want a compliment and that you look good or whatever the compliment is? So you like give one hoping to get one. And then when you don't get it, you felt even more crushed than not having one to begin with.
It's just
like,
so funny.
We all just need to like grow up. Like,
Brittany should have looked at him and been like, I look hot. And he would have been like, yeah. And then that would have been it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but I love Jax because I know what I don't want in a relationship. You know, like every time I watch him interact with Brittany, I'm like, there's always a better way he could have done this.
I know.
And now I know what I don't want. So.
Yes, because he should just sit there when he's staring. When you say, you look really great, you should just be like, you too. It's not hard. I feel like he takes the path of least, like, the most resistance and then tries to, like, explain why he should not have to say, you look beautiful in this moment.
Well, even if he says, thanks, and she goes, you need to tell me I look beautiful. He could be like, of course you're beautiful. Yeah. Like, I thought you already knew that. I mean, look, there's never a time you're not.
He can say his defensive little like, oh, I've already said it twice. I thought you hurt me. Or like, hurt me.
Did you not hear me? Mm-hmm. You're gorgeous. Well, she's like, I want to hear it all the time. And that's when he's like, you're beautiful. And he could leave it, but he's like, I already did, Brittany.
I know. And listen, if she's communicating that like she wants to hear it all the time, note that and do it.
Words of affirmation. Okay, then we do the group shot where we see Gigi.
I hated this group shot.
Me too. It was super awkward. Who was that girl on Peter's lap? I've never seen her
before. I don't know, but it just reminded me of The Last Supper, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Not to throw in Catholicism again, but it looked like The Last Supper, and Jax definitely doesn't know that reference.
Jax is Judas, let's be honest.
But like accidentally be like, oh shit.
And the fact that Lisa like got everybody seated and then she's locked out of her place.
Rolled under the table with that horrible hair.
I was like, you're gonna fuck that hair up more where it's gonna look worse.
Yeah. I got confused. Also, sucks for Nathalie and Guillermo that they're on the end.
Very end.
Who's that girl on Peter's lap? Why is Gigi in this photo? And also, usually you have at least, I don't know, like 50 people at these photo shoots. You had like 12 here. Where was the rest of the cast?
It looked bad.
Was this just the Vanderpump Rules cast, or like you've had one
with some like rando extras?
If so, where was Katie O'Malley from the last episode starting up a storm? So, and then Lisa says, we only hire hot people at SUR, with like more or less words. So, exclusive hot people only.
I guess the non-hot people didn't get invited to the photo shoot this year.
Yeah, Katie O'Malley sitting at home like, wait, what?
And they needed guys, apparently. That's why like Schwartz was there. Where was James? I know he's not like a constant employee, but like honestly, for a photo shoot.
James is hot for a photo shoot.
Worth it.
Bring in Richard. That guy from Pump?
Richard. I swear he's done some in the past.
Yeah, everyone used to be included. Now it's just the Vanderpump Rules cast and Gigi who steals James's clothes occasionally.
Gosh.
So, then we go to Pump. The Bubbas are here to meet Lisa. Schwartz is like, Katie, I feel like we've been dating for 20 years. We've been to like we've been together and through so much. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like a relationship should feel fun and like we're so young, opposed to like we're already old
Yeah.
and
It's one of those
dated.
things where you should be like, oh my God, it's flown by so fast, but it's also been like forever. Like when we think about like,
Yeah,
I feel like you say that about your job
hilarious.
sometimes too, but he's like, it's been 20 years.
It's been 84 years, like the Titanic.
You haven't even gotten married yet.
No. The worst is yet to come, don't worry.
Yikes.
So they finally see the relationship as a hot mess, but they can't wait to fix it. So then Lisa joins them and she's like, I'm so happy to see you're in love again. I'll officiate your wedding. And I was
It's
like,
been 2 days. I'm so glad you're in love.
you guys ordered Maggiano's and now? And you shared a giggle and had some lazy sex. That is what love is.
Maggiano's and I knew, so I threw in some calamari to spice things up.
The calamari was mine.
It's like she always upgrades their rooms. She's like, I upgraded you with some calamari.
I upgraded your Maggiano's.
With some $7.99 calamari.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. So that's how the episode ends. Next time, Lala is back. Thank God. We're getting stale over here.
She is.
Stassi's getting her mojo back with a sexy photo shoot. James tells Raquel's parents he doesn't work at SUR anymore and cries. Sandoval and Jax are going to bring in Schwartz's brothers for the wedding. Then we head north for the wedding. And then Schwartz's brothers miss the flight. And Jax is so mad his eyes are bugging out of his face again.
And he's like screaming the surprise all around.
I have to tell Sandoval. Brittany, shut the fuck up, you bitch.
Stop.
The brothers.
Oh my God. I actually...
one of my favorite relationships in all of Vanderpump Rules is Schwartz's brothers and Jax Taylor. That pairing is iconic. I can't wait for it.
I can't wait to move locations to this wedding venue because I just feel like everybody together will just be pure chaos.
I can't wait. I remember the wedding so thoroughly. I cannot wait to relive it.
This season's a blur for me constantly.
Oh, not me. This is my stuff.
Like I did not remember this episode.
I don't remember this episode, but the wedding. Oh my God, I could tell you.
I know the actual wedding moment.
Stuff.
I mean, I've seen it a bajillion times. I feel like through videos, but
as to not give away spoilers, but if you asked, I could give you very rando facts I remember about this wedding. Anyway, should we do accepted and blocked?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with accepted. We'll end on a negative because this episode was very not that great.
I feel like nothing and everything happened, or like nothing happened. Yeah.
So who are you?
I don't know who to pick.
Should we only do background characters this episode?
No. Fine. No, because then I'm gonna have to say that like that random girl sitting on Peter's lap. I'm accepting Lisa for finally standing up and saying what the entire world and cast is thinking about this freaking impending marriage.
Just because no one really stuck out this episode, I'm gonna go Katie because she's moving on from Schwartz's infidelity and she got Maggiano's calamari, so a win.
She planned that photo shoot.
And her and Chyna had a lovely moment.
You know what? Katie was good compared to the rest of the season.
10 out of 10. So who's blocked? There was no one I disliked either. The girl on Peter's lap because I wish it was me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I mean, that poor girl.
What do I want to do?
I'm trying to think what happened. You know what? I'm going all 4 guys because that spray tan scene was the weirdest thing of my entire life.
Jax, Peter, Sandoval. Well, okay, just pick one of those guys.
Just Sandoval. Let's just do Sandoval because I'm still mad about the hair too.
Okay, I'll do Jax because he couldn't tell Brittany she was beautiful.
Good point.
Okay, so we did it. We're going to be doing an after show after this. Do all the things that I've mentioned beforehand in the beginning of the episode. And then to close out this episode, forget what you heard and remember where you heard it first.